Welcome to Your Career Revolution, presented by the Entrepreneur Source. My name is Mike Toper, and we've got a fantastic topic on hand today. Really going to dive in a little bit into capitalizing off, the biggest movie of the summer, Barbie, and talking about some of the themes in women in entrepreneurship and business. And we're going to explore that topic. Really excited for this one. We've got a great guest joining us here who's got plenty of expertise when it comes to that field. But first, allow me to bring in my co-host, Tamara Loring. She is the Chief of Brand Ideology with the Entrepreneur Source. Tamara, getting a bit chilly up there in New England. How you doing today?
Sure is. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Mike. Yes, what a fun topic we have today. Beyond Barbie, the rise of women empowered by business.
Yeah, and we should mention, again, this is loosely based off a blog, an article that had been written and posted, entrepreneursource.com. You can find that there where you find the rest of the blogs as well. But just exploring women in business, as you mentioned. And now's a great time. We're going to bring in our guest today, who you are no stranger to, April Saavedra-Duran. She's been a career ownership coach with TES for a little over 4 years now. And April, you've got plenty of experience when it comes to this, right?
Yes, I've been coaching lots of clients, men and women, and I get to hear, what the biggest concerns are and what people are looking for out there. So hopefully I can add to this conversation today.
You've got a bit of an extensive background when it comes to, I guess you would call it the corporate world. You've worked with some heavy hitter companies like Coca-Cola, T-Mobile, and others. Can you tell us a little bit about, or just describe how you kind of climbed that corporate ladder up into to doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, so 21 years I spent in the corporate world as well, so I could relate to a lot of my clients. I became a Western Division sales manager for many of the last years I spent in corporate. 17 of the years I actually spent in the food industry, covering the entire Western United States. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that looking for some sympathy because that was a huge geography.
Yeah, we asked. It's okay. Brag away.
No, it was half of the United States. So if you think about that geography, what it means is I spent a lot of time traveling, right? And I'm a mom too. So I have 3 kids. And when I left corporate, I already had an adult son and I had 2 still in elementary. So didn't want to miss out on those 2 younger kids' lives like I did my older son. And so kind of a little bit about my story and what got me into wanting to get out of the corporate world and becoming independent. So I relate a lot to my clients' stories as well.
Yeah, and let's dive into, as we introduced it here, our Barbie theme, which anyone listening to this, that this movie was out this summer, over $1 billion. It was the hottest thing of the summer. But I feel like there have been, perhaps to those, not really into knowledge with the Barbie, not just the movie, but the experience, the doll, and over the past dozens of years, there's kind of some stereotypes that go along with Barbie. When the fact is, just on the surface, the woman's had over 250 different jobs. She's been an inspiration kind of to a younger generation that kind of, you can do anything, right?
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. There is a lot of stereotyping going on. As a matter of fact, I heard so many polarizing comments, even by people who hadn't seen the movie yet, because they were concerned that the movie may be perpetuating that, come on, Barbie, let's go party image, as opposed to taking up people seriously and recognizing Barbie for the complex woman and professional that she may be. And I'm sure April would love to comment on that in just a second. But what I decided to do is rather than saying, hey, I'm going to be stereotyped and limited by this perception of Barbie, I took the opposite approach. I said, how cool is that Barbie had over 250 professions, that she could be anything she wanted to be, whether it's an astronaut, going into space, being the president, being an entrepreneur if she chose. So rather than limiting yourself and boxing yourself in, what I took from this renewed Barbie movement is that there's never been a better time to take personal responsibility and to reimagine and reclaim the life of your dreams. And it's not just a dream, it is absolutely doable. It is absolutely possible. Look, April and so many of the ladies I know are living proof of this. April is not just a role model for her daughter and her sons and her grandchildren, but she's also a strong leader in her community. And um, as a business owner and a career ownership coach, like she already said, she helps others reinvent themselves and become a better version of themselves all the time.
Yeah, April, can you speak to that at all?
Yes, I actually loved this movie. I had such a great time watching it. I laughed my butt off with my daughter, and it was really just kind of poking fun at some of the stuff that we know is going on in the world. And you got to have fun and you got to joke with life once in a while. We're all dealing with it. It's not like it's a big secret. I actually took a different, kind of another spin on it as well, though. I didn't just only look at it as a woman show on, women in all of our careers, because we have so many different things we can be. But I also thought there was a lot of relationships there between my clients, female and male, in the college world of picking our careers versus what happens in the real world. And so there was that kind of feeling. There was a lot of relatable things there too. But in college, we're taught, and I teach, thinking about teaching my daughter, is we're like, you could be anything you want to be. You want to be a doctor, you be a doctor. You want to be a nurse, you be a nurse. You want to be the president, you could do anything. But then once they get out of college and they get to the real world, we're like, oops, well, now you got to pick one thing and that's what you have to be the rest of your life. But that's not the case. There's so many different phases of our lives that we could change and want to be different things. And I captured that part of the movie as well. Is life is different. Life changes. And, what we thought we wanted in our 20s, men and women, it changes. We might not want that when we're in our 30s or our 40s or 50s. And it's okay to change our mind. We don't have to be that one thing forever. And that's kind of also what the part of it that I really, really connected with. And I thought it was a fun movie. It's really just poked a lot of fun on some of the painful things that a lot of women have experienced and I hear about every day. So I loved it. I thought it was fun.
And it's interesting because what you bring up actually is a theme that's brought up in the TES book, Your Career Revolution: Reclaim and Reimagine the Life of Your Dreams, which you can find just about everywhere. But it's discover what holds you back, and you mentioned that at least in that one perspective, getting out of college thinking you got to do one thing, but there are a number of different things, right? That I feel like sometimes women, just through our discussions, have expressed that feel like they're held back.
Exactly right. If you can grasp that we are limited by our own imagination, and if we can discover what holds us back, in the book we actually have a chapter dedicated to it, saying that we all have limiting beliefs, we have perceptions of how things should be. As April said, right, maybe we chose a career path in college and now for whatever reason we think we need to stick with it. Hey, if it's not serving you anymore, then it's time to reimagine and reclaim the life of your dreams and come up with a new one, right? We don't have to be stuck in a rut. We can tap into the resources, have somebody like a career ownership coach challenge your thinking, challenge your perceptions, and see what is possible. So if there's one thing that I want to impress on anyone listening to the show today, is regardless of who you are, it is absolutely possible to have it all. And it doesn't need to come at a compromise. It's not an either or a win-lose situation. There are absolutely win-win-win relationships and situations out there. And there are going to be days that maybe a mentor or a coach believes in you and believes in your dreams more than you do yourself. And I am so thankful that I had those strong mentors in my life. Because of that, I now get to live a life of abundance. I feel like, oh gosh, and April knows this, like one of the luckiest people on earth, because I feel like if I want to be an entrepreneur, if I want to be a business owner, there may be over 80 or 90 different industry sectors that I can participate in. And I kind of just have to hold myself back and say, SOS, Tamara, shiny object syndrome. There's so many things you could do. Focus on the one or two things that are going to elevate you, generate the kind of income you're looking for, help you live the lifestyle you're looking for, generate maybe or create the wealth and equity that you're looking to do for your family and for your future. But it's so nice to feel like there's an abundance of possibilities as opposed to feeling limited or stuck or just leading a mediocre life.
April, you caught that real quick, right? That SOS shiny, that is excellent. Shiny object syndrome.
I know I got to use that somewhere in my next week. No, I really love what you're thinking, and I love the fact that taking this even further is there's a part in the movie too that just kind of captures that we don't have to be just one thing. We can choose to also still be great moms. And I remember my corporate life just feeling always guilty that I'm working, my career is going so well, but I'm being a mom is not going so well right now, or having to choose one of those things and just really that pressure and fitting in and only, prioritizing one thing. Being an entrepreneur and since I left corporate years ago, I don't have to choose between multiple things that are important to me. I don't have to, and honestly, I don't have to put my family on the back burner. I can have a successful career and still be really engaged in my family and be a great mom. I think also the part of our book that stands out to me and connects with the movie is the battered career syndrome. You continuously going out there into the corporate world and trying to climb that ladder. And I think about the part in the movie where all the CEOs and upper management were males, and Will Ferrell, his CEO part, he's like, well, I support women. I'm a son of a woman. Like it was like his connection to, showing that they supported women because he knew a woman, and it was just it's that's how funny it is, that we can joke like that. But how many times I hear not only my clients, but I've also personally experienced the battered career syndrome, and also heard the promise, the verbal promise that you start with our company and you work really hard, we're going to promote you. We're going to let you climb the corporate ladder. You're going to be in upper management in no time. And then when you put in your time in your year or two, you look for that promotion and they're like, oh, but you're doing a great job where you're at. It only takes 2-3 times of hearing that before you realize you were sold, a bag of magic beans. And a lot of my clients could relate to that. They were like, I was told if I worked really hard that I was going to be in upper management. And they've gotten battered. They're exhausted. They're tired of waiting on that promise. And I help them to see, you know what? If you own your own business, you can give yourself any title you want. You can be a VP, you can be a CEO, you could be in upper management because you own the company. It's your company. And so just allowing people to become empowered and to take control of their lives, I think that it's where I get my most excitement of what I get to see and watch.
And in kind of formulating the discussion we were having today, there are numerous examples that we can use of women and kind of their journeys and how they've become successful, however you want to define success. And one that I came up with, kind of dovetailing off of just what you brought up, April, was Sarah Blakely. For those of you who don't know, she is the inventor and was the owner of Spanx, which is I have not worn Spanx. What's the best way? It's an undergarment. That's the best way, right? For women to kind of, how would you best describe this?
They make them for men too. It is to make our clothes look the best.
Make our clothes look the best. So basically she was young. She was working a job in Florida where, the weather, whatever, what she was expected to wear was not comfortable for her. So she had to come up with a way and say, how do I dress in the corporate world or dress in the business world that, I'm not sweating bullets here, or I look weird, or I look out of place. So she came up with her own plan for these Spanx, went to numerous companies and said, I've got this idea for women that'll be great, and was told, no, over and over again. She's got $5,000 in her savings. This is all she has. And she's put it all into this because she says, no, this is something that I believe in. I believe in myself. I believe in my idea. Lo and behold, she ends up finding the one person who says, yes, this is a great idea, ends up selling her company for $1 billion, changing the way, women kind of, I guess, and men now is going to shape themselves and wear things. So, that's just one example of not just what's holding you back, right? But believing in yourself. And April, you said it, feeling like you've been told no, or feeling like you can't get ahead for whatever reason, whether it's other people telling you no, you just got to kind of trust yourself, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of clients, when they get to me, and this is again, men and women both, sometimes they are beat up. They are feeling not their best selves. Going through a layoff can really hurt your confidence. And in the Barbie movie, when she's laying on the floor on her face and wanting to give up on life, I mean, some of my clients come to me in that state. They are just exhausted. They feel beat up. They don't know where to go. They just want to throw in the towel. And so in the beginning, sometimes we're just working on self-awareness and confidence and helping them see their value again and understand, what their strengths are and how those can transfer to different things, and not just feel like, the career they've been in, it was the only way, and really helping them open up to more directions that they could go in. So the foundation of our coaching and what we do is just that, is helping them to build that confidence and to just admit to themselves how amazing that they are. Because the corporate world can really beat you up if you go through enough layoffs, or if you've gone a year without finding a job. Your confidence really starts to diminish. And so part of our coaching is really helping people to just clear the mind, clear the thoughts, believe in themselves again, understand what their value is, and once you have that, you can build anything on top of that, but you have to have that foundation, and we work on that too. So
One of the things I love too that April said, and the Barbie movie just reminds us of that. April, you said you watched it with your daughter last night and you guys were laughing, right? And that's just a reminder that, we only get to live once, and we take ourselves up so seriously. And, just for a moment, let's pause that and think back to when we were a child and failure was not an option. And we had all these crazy ideas, right? Our coaching gets us back to that frame of mind where we think about what seems impossible and figure out whether maybe there is a way to shape that into possibilities. And the thing is, so many people feel like they're alone when they're trying to reinvent their careers, or their current career is not taking them to where they want to go. And so collectively, if you realize that you're not alone, as a matter of fact, what did I hear the other day? 3/4 of America or employees are currently quietly quitting or loudly quitting. So you're definitely not alone. The majority of people are not happy with their careers, and they feeling like what April spoke about, maybe battered and beat up. But give yourself permission to dream and reimagine and reclaim the life of your dreams. So I hope that is one of the things that people take away from today's podcast, right? Whether it's like Sarah Blakely or Oprah Winfrey or whoever inspires you. It could be men, women, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, we get to reinvent ourselves if our current life is not serving us.
And there's opportunities out there too. One of the big themes, or excuse me, one of the big things has become web, which TES is heavily involved with, right?
Yes, we have multiple different initiatives. Like April said, it's not just for women, it's not just for men. There are various fractions, whether it's, we've got the veteran to entrepreneur group, people who specialize in transitioning veterans, from, their military careers into self-sufficiency, whether it's web, women empowered by business. So there's so many initiatives, something that you could be passionate about and get behind. So I appreciate you calling that out, Mike.
Yeah, and definitely. And as we kind of wrap things up here a little bit, April, again, you've been involved at least with career ownership, and we mentioned your experience before. But what's kind of like the message that you try to impart, not just with some of your clients, and you mentioned not just women. I mean, certainly this is the theme of women in business and believing in yourself and achieving your dreams. But what it's one of the messages that you try to impart for those who maybe they're feeling either stuck or they're feeling like maybe they're pigeonholed a little bit, like we've discussed, that you try to give them to show them the light, to show them that there are possibilities. And we mentioned, Sarah Blakely is a billionaire. Oprah Winfrey is, a billionaire. Success doesn't necessarily need to be defined by wealth, right? It can be defined just by what makes you happy. Happy.
Absolutely. My biggest message is in just connects to what I hear daily when I talk to new people. The biggest miss that I hear that people, the biggest need that I hear people are missing in their careers is feeling purposeful, is feeling like they're doing something that they're meant to do. And when you feel like that, or when somebody is feeling like that achy feeling like this is not what I'm meant to be doing, that is just the best time. That's the great time to just open yourself up to figuring out what else is out there. There's so many opportunities that are out there. And, we don't sell anybody on an idea. We help people to explore open mindedly, educate themselves, get information, and let the information guide them or not. And that it's that purposeful feeling, that aching feeling that many people have is, how can I give more purpose and meaning to my life because what I'm doing is not working anymore? And just realizing that and just saying that to yourself and being okay saying that to yourself. That's the biggest takeaway. I could tell you one thing I've done in changing in my parenting with this capturing this whole topic is when we talk to our kids now, and we used to say, do you want to be a fireman or a doctor or, what you could be, whatever you want to be. We started throwing in that word of entrepreneur as well, to our own children. Don't forget, you could also be an entrepreneur and you don't have to go to college for that. You can go out and start your own business. And my husband's an entrepreneur as well. So it is about just changing the messaging and allowing yourself to be open-minded. And it's amazing what possibilities go through the door once you open those doors. So that's my
Yeah, and just so we're clear, I mean, in the book too, it talks about sometimes, and you mentioned the situation. Not everybody has to love what they do, right? But you can love the situation that you're in, as opposed to maybe you have a job, as you mentioned in college. You thought, oh, I want to be this, and you're doing it, but you're miserable, and or you're not. We're getting to where you need to go. So it means a lot of different things to different people, as you mentioned.
absolutely.
Um, T, any thoughts you have as we kind of get ready to land the plane here?
My big takeaway is you're never too young or too old to reimagine and reclaim the life of your dreams. So just have fun with that and know that you have resources out there, people who are going to be dream champions for you. So tap into those resources. If you don't have a copy of the book yet, go on Amazon or go on Kindle or get it on Audible. Yes, so it's available on Audible too now. And just, see what kind of imagination this sparks for you and have fun with that.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I've really appreciated this discussion. Of course, for more information, I mean, you talked about the book, entrepreneursource.com. There's a lot of different areas you can go to get this type of expertise. But I definitely appreciate this discussion today. So I'd like to thank April Saavedra-Duran. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks.
Along with my co-host Tamara Loring, Chief of Brand Ideology for TES. My name is Mike Toper, and thank you for listening.